Good, very early morning, Internet. It is currently our last morning here in Croatia. We are currently walking to the bus terminal at 6 a.m. this morning to make sure we can catch the only bus shuttle to the airport for our flight. So we'll be at the airport very early. Otherwise, we'd have to get a taxi or a different bus route or something wild like that to get to the airport, which is very far away for this town. So hopefully we'll make it to the bus stop on time. We have more than enough time to do so, so we're in no rush to push all of this luggage back around. Hopefully the bus shows up. That's our only concern at this point. So I'll see you at the bus. Made it to the bus terminal. The bus that we got here from the airport isn't here. But then there's this weird Omega bus thing, so maybe that's it, but that looks more like a 8 to 12 passenger van versus like a full coach bus, so Brian's checking on that for us. That van isn't for us, and the bus should be here at 6:30 according to the sign. Hopefully it shows up. We got about 10 minutes until it does, so fingers crossed, and it's just a waiting game at this point. Yay, the bus is here!
So we loaded our luggage in the bottom of the bus, and we were off to the airport. And 25 minutes later, we arrived.
Made it to the airport. Let's get our boarding passes and get our luggage tags as well. As we sit down in the main terminal here, we get an email saying it's an hour and 20 minutes delayed, but the board hasn't updated saying that. So we're hopefully not delayed, but most likely almost the length of the flight time will be delayed. So that's fun. Luckily in Germany where we're flying, we have a couple hour layover. So it should be fine, but it's not looking good for this flight so far. At least we didn't get bumped to a different flight. That would have been like 3 or 4 days later at this point. Even though there's only 2 gates in this airport, we somehow were still at the wrong gate. It like weaves back in on itself, so we had to be on the other side of this airport, which isn't a whole lot.
And soon we were on the tarmac, walking to board.
I am glad I am on the plane soon, because it is hot out here. Glad to be out of this heat pretty soon, though.
And this Baltic plane was for us. And as always, touch the outside of the plane for safety. And this is our row 7A and C.
Within the Rijeka airport, is it bad that there was much more to do than in Basel's airport? Just because Rijeka had a little cafe downstairs before you checked in, had a duty-free shop after security, had a full cafe after security, as well as 2 different outdoor terraces. And then once you actually walked to the gate, it had like games, a claw machine, a space for children, like actual seating that isn't just generic airport seating. And when we actually found our gate, we sat down and had a nice conversation with a German couple who lives near Dusseldorf, and we were talking about how we came from the United States, how we stayed in Copenhagen, how we're here for Brian's diving, and diving doesn't really translate to other languages. In Croatian, water jumping is more accurate, and jumping into the water is more accurate in German. So there was a fun little language barrier we had to overcome with them to explain how he wasn't scuba diving, but like platform and springboard diving. So they were fun to talk to for a couple minutes. Really helped pass the time as well.
And it was a pretty easy flight where we just took in the views and we made it to Dusseldorf. And stay tuned for my next video where I'm reviewing Rijeka to Dusseldorf on an Air Baltic plane via Eurowings. And just like that, we were off the plane.
So it looks like we'll have to go through some sort of passport control just because the UK's not a part of the EU like Germany and Croatia was.
And we watched a few planes board, grabbed some lunch, and then we made it to our gate.
We are now on the jet bridge, finally boarding our flight.
And you know the drill, touch the outside of the plane again, and enjoy the view.
Overall, decent little flight though. Just a precursor to our long haul flight, which is London Heathrow to Chicago O'Hare, which hopefully will go smoothly just because we have about a 12-14 hour break in between, if not longer than that. We leave about 7:30 tomorrow morning and we have a hotel for that, so we can enjoy London a little bit if we're not too tired and get some dinner and pass out pretty much.
And like I said, short little flight, so we were already landing in London.
And now, just like that, we're in London. Now to go through customs, possibly, and find our luggage. Was able to use like the self-service passport desk thing here in London, so we got through that. Just a little bit of a hiccup here and there, but we made it through without having to talk to anyone. Now we are waiting for our luggage so we can go to the hotel. That looks like mine. And the best part, my luggage isn't wet for once. Everything should be dry. Now we are off to find a bus to get us to the hotel. We thought the hotel was much closer to the airport than what it was, but unfortunately not, and we thought it was basically next to one of the terminals, but we'll figure it out.
And we figured it out rather quickly, so we were on the bus, ready for the hotel. Our hotel was only a couple blocks away from the bus stop, and we checked in and went straight up to the room.
Okay, London didn't leave the best first impression on me. I would say out of all the European cities, that one block had more trash than all of them that I visited. So like Copenhagen, Basel, Dusseldorf, and Rijeka. Granted, two of them I didn't ever really leave, but still, that couple blocks of London that I saw, very dirty, like more dirty than Chicago, which is kind of hard to top sometimes. Hopefully in the next 12 hours, because that's about how long we'll be staying here, it'll get better. Otherwise, I don't know how I feel about London. Let's have a room tour. First off, little desky bench area with a TV and a mirror. Extra towels and pillows up there and some places to hang your stuff. Nice little hallway with some funky little carpeting. Queen size bed with one little end table and a phone, some lighting, second little table, and then this? Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do a space selfie. It only makes sense at this point. And our view of a gas station and a car wash. Here's a poster with a bunch of different travel words on it, I guess. Then the other room we have is a giraffe room, apparently. The bathroom, nice mirror. I don't know if there's an actual light switch in here. And it looks like a full stand-in shower. Everything looks pretty clean, ready to go. That was the room tour. Looks like a nice room overall. Not sure how I feel about the giraffe and the spaceman, though.
But pretty tired and needed a quick bite to eat, we just headed to the hotel bar and restaurant, which I found odd since it had a Wright Brothers theme. The best thing about this meal was definitely this glass. Our onion rings to start were okay. We did eat a couple before I filmed this, but kinda small overall. And I got a club sandwich with, I think it literally had everything possible on it. And Brian got the steak and stout pie. Also tried some infamous brown sauce and some malt vinegar.
Just wanted to make some quick clarifications on a couple things that I said earlier. When I say London is dirty, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying based on my sample size, which is small, I will admit, and comparatively to the other couple of cities that I've been to for multiple days, London just felt like based on that sample, it had more litter than the other ones. I'm not calling London a dirty city. I'm saying based on my experiences and what I've seen so far, it has a little bit more than maybe a Copenhagen or a Rijeka. Chicago arguably could go either way, but just based on what I've seen so far. That's not me dissing or reading London. That's just physically what I saw. Also, when it comes to dinner tonight, the food was fine. Don't get me wrong with that. I don't know how I feel about brown sauce that Brian had me try. I don't really understand what I would put it on per se. Like, it had a flavor profile that I couldn't quite place. It wasn't quite barbecue. It was too sweet to be savory. I just didn't understand what it was trying to be, because it was kind of salty, kind of sweet, kind of all over the place. And I don't know if I agree with that texture. It could just be a brand thing. It could be just that packet. That packet could have been sitting there for 3 years for all I know. I know that's not true because it had an expiration date. It was well within the time. Something was suspicious about it, and I don't know how else to explain it. And for the malt vinegar, I see the point of it. I just don't like soggy fries. And I'm not a big, salt and vinegar potato chip person. Not really my vibe. Just kind of makes everything soggy and just... I want a crispy fry. I want a crunchy potato, not a sour, mushy thing. But I am going to wrap up tonight, at least, here. This has been Brett and Coach, and I am spending the night here in London. Have a great night, day, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you had a favorite city that I've visited so far, and I will see you in Coach.